History has a long memory, not so much for individuals, but for societies. Some generations can pass through time without a trace. Others step forward and spend their time to leave a lasting legacy for their children and their children's children. Some left the legacy of a new land filled with opportunity. Others strove for freedom. It's fallen to this generation to leave the land itself, restored, cleansed of the pollution of a long-gone industrial era. This generation has reached back in time to reclaim the land their forefathers saw as the most beautiful of all, the land they called Providence.
Quite often, I'm asked, what makes me the proudest about the city of Providence? Is it Water Place Park, or the rivers that we moved and reopened to create a palette for magical events like Waterfire? Is it the mall that restored a thriving retail center in the city? The arts and entertainment district, the world-class restaurants, or the skating rink? Is it Roger Williams Park, or the restored neighborhoods? For me, it's none of these things. I have to say that I am proudest of the people of this city, the thousands of residents, the business, political, and religious leaders. It's these people who have made all those other things possible. Through adversity and obstacles, and in the face of criticism from so many so-called experts who said it couldn't be done, they held fast to a belief that this city could rise from the ashes to become one of America's greatest. They were right. When you look at what we've accomplished so far, you're looking at a dream of this generation to take back the land. A dream that's become reality. No matter what we may accomplish going forward, I'd like to say right now that these people are the greatest source of my pride and deserve the gratitude of this and all succeeding generations. But we're not through. We're poised on the edge of the greatest endeavor yet, and I wouldn't feel nearly as confident as to its outcome without this generation standing by my side. There are 3 remaining areas in the city that we need to reclaim for the future. The first is one we'll call Westminster Crossing. In spite of the pollution and noise generated by Route 95 cutting through the center of our city, it's impossible to remove it, and maybe not even desirable. The highway provides unprecedented access to the city, and every major metropolitan area in the world has a similar highway to contend with. However, that doesn't mean we can't reconnect the two halves with a project that will look something like this. This renovation will reopen Westminster Street to vehicular traffic in the cathedral area. A new diocesan center will be built next to the cathedral. Existing service roads will be relocated closer to the highway, allowing for new residential and commercial development. The most important visual asset to the area will be the covering of the highway from Broad Street to Atwells Avenue. That new area will be dedicated to public use with a series of gardens and walkways that will change from area to area and season to season and will become known as the Providence Gardens. The gardens will reconnect our divided city both physically and spiritually and allow for new opportunity for mixed-use commercial and residential properties in the area. Looking west from the new Providence Place Mall is an area that must have been spectacular in its natural beauty before the 19th century industrialists built along the riverfront. Those factories were an important part of the area economy then, but no longer. Fortunately, the river is still there, and so is the land hiding under a thin layer of industrial debris. And instead of this, imagine this. The goal is once again to link the city through and over the freeway to the new mall, to Capitol Center. Looking east, as you face the city, you may wonder if you've been transported to Florence as you view the Ponte Vecchio-style bridge that stretches across the Woonasquatucket River, linking both sides into a new retail and entertainment area with easy access to the mall. As you pull back into the more than 100 acres of redevelopment, you find new river crossings, extensive green areas, punctuated by mixed-use regions including retailers, offices, even residential sections. Pull back further to reveal an expanded and revitalized Davis Park area that reaches all the way down to the river. A smaller but still extensive version of Roger Williams Park on the other side of the city. Imagine how this park will improve those residences and businesses surrounding it. The waterway running through the center of it all will no longer carry industrial waste, but gondolas and canoes. As amazing as these new visions may seem, compared to our final and grandest vision, they will seem relatively simple in retrospect, because it is the will of this generation to reclaim the waterfront. Early industries gobbled up waterfront and began a 100-year-long dynasty that would leave in its wake one of the most contaminated and lifeless areas in the entire state. After 100 years, they must join with us in returning it to its rightful owners, the people. They must be enlisted in the effort to undo the damage that was done. So far, we've been encouraged by businesses' response to these proposals because they also know that this is what it can become. Narragansett Landing is a city waterfront that will rival the greatest in the world. That's far beyond even the famous Baltimore or San Francisco vistas. Over 200 acres that will stretch from the hurricane barrier in Providence all the way up Allen's Avenue to a greenway that connects it to Roger Williams Park. 200 acres of marinas, parks, restaurants, entertainment complexes, hotels, and museums. Mixed residential and commercial areas. 100 acres of open park and green areas, attracting hundreds of millions of dollars in development, more hundreds of millions in wages for new jobs, and ushering in a new era for the city of Providence and the state of Rhode Island. But most importantly, it will be a living, growing time capsule that this generation will send into the future as a gift for the millions yet unborn.
These three projects represent a landmass 10 times the size of Capitol Center. 538 acres in all, over 7 million square feet of new commercial space, 4,300 residences with approximately 11,000 new people, over 1,200 new hotel rooms, 200 acres of open space for parks, marinas, and greenways, 30,000 new jobs, 100 million in new tax revenue, 50% more than the total the city now collects.
Can we do it? Providence is already one of the great destinations